This is Wes from Exit Strategy.
This is Casey from Exit Strategy, and you're listening to Broken Neck Radio.
Metal that makes you want to break shit!
This is Reckless Ron here at the Wacken Metal Battle Canada, and I have with me Exit Strategy, again one of the 5 bands competing for the slot to represent Canada in Germany at this year's Wacken Metal Festival. So with me I have Wes and Greg. How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Fantastic.
All right. So welcome to Toronto and the Wacken Metal Battle Canada finale here at the Opera House. So how was your trip from Calgary?
It was good. It was really quick. We basically flew into Edmonton, which is about half an hour, got on another plane right away. Another 4 hours later, we're here. So it was pretty quick.
So there was no long bus ride, of course. You know that some of the bands, I think Mutank from Montreal, they might have come up that way, and then you guys from Calgary, and of course our other band from the neck of the woods. They flew out too. So give us a brief rundown of how Exit Strategy was formed in 2007, and what the music scene was or is like out west, and how did that influence you growing up?
Actually, Greg would be better on how they formed.
The band formed in, I think it was probably 2006, I guess, and it was an offshoot of another band that we were in at the time called Caveat. And the guitar player, Joe, and drummer Casey wanted to do something a little bit more visceral and something a little bit more extreme. So it kind of started out as more of a kind of a side project to explore that musical territory, and then it evolved into a full gigging band that we made as a main project.
They started doing Thorazine covers.
Yeah, I basically started doing Thorazine covers, which was the guitar player's previous band, and then it evolved into its own kind of entity from there.
Yeah. And your first album, United State of Amnesia, how did that all come together and get recorded, and how was the initial response?
It was recorded by Joe, our guitar player, and the response was fantastic. That was one of the things that kind of really kind of made a sizable impression to make us want to kind of keep this going forward and to really, really push the band into a main project. But yeah, it was phenomenal. It's basically was the catalyst for what we are today.
And I was actually just a fan of the band at that time. I'm actually their third singer, so right. I was a fan of the band at that time, and it was actually coming out, as the whole Gulf War thing was going on too. So it really, and that's kind of what a lot of the lyrics were about too. So it was just kind of like a perfect timing thing, I think, for that album to come out for these guys. So,
and that's what I was kind of getting at. Was tell us a bit about your lyrical themes and where you draw your inspirations from when writing material.
The first album was definitely about the Iraq War and our disdain for it, especially when a lot of people at the time were kind of pro-war, and we were very much against it. We thought it was a fucking sham right from the get-go.
Right.
Now, the second album was definitely a little bit more based on calling out overly religious, factions and whatnot, and how we thought that was really ridiculous. And the third album, I guess Wes can kind of take that because he wrote the majority of the lyrics for that album.
I guess a lot of the lyrics that I wrote on the third album were I'm a bit of a conspiracy nut, so there's an out for instance, there's a song on there called "Dumb Deep Underground Military Bases."
I was wondering what that acronym meant.
Yeah, it's about that. I've done a lot of research on pseudoscience and conspiracies and stuff, and then there's also some lighter kind of topics, about movies. I wrote "Face of Fear" about the original Wolfman movie. Greg wrote a song on the album called "Remember Sammy Jenkins," which is about the movie Memento.
Okay.
Just there's other things, just kind of just like social topics and stuff like that. So it's a little bit lighter as far as more of a broad spectrum as far as lyrical content goes.
And so let's go back and just touch upon your sophomore release, The Apostate's Creed, released in 2010. It's a wicked metal masterpiece that made the metal community sit up and pay attention. Was this a natural progression where you guys felt more comfortable writing and recording second time around?
I think so. It was actually a little bit more laborious, to be honest. We had a vocalist that was involved in multiple projects. Our second vocalist, Therese Lance, who's in Mares of Thrace, among Ole, Killborn. She was in all these other bands. So
So
yeah, Ken mowed in, so it was it was a little bit more of a tedious process at that point.
So you have a more concrete lineup now with Wes on vocals, and things are progressing a lot smoother.
Yeah, and I'd like to think that the sound on the new record definitely is kind of a culmination of the way that we're all feeling.
So I read somewhere that you guys received a CBC award last year. Tell us a bit about that.
What did we get last year? Was
the
it
Calgary Beer Corps Award was the...
I was thinking something else, CBC.
It was the Calgary Beer Corps, but it was actually for the CJSW, which is like they do the Megawatt Mayhem program in Calgary.
Right. There's so much going on out
exactly.
there. I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah, and those guys, there was the CJSW award, and we took that award through the Calgary Beer Corps, which was to me the best award that we could have got at that award show.
Voted on by the people. It wasn't like a committee or anything like that.
Yeah, it was by the two guys that to me are the most educated on metal in the city. So it was kind of more of an honor to get that award than any of the other ones.
Awesome, sweet. So we touched on your newest release, 2013, The Atrocity Machine. Looking at your complete catalog, which tunes are personal favorites that you enjoy performing live the most, and give us an idea of how your set lists are formed.
Personal favorite ones, I still have ones off the first album that I really enjoy, like just New World Disorder. New World Disorder we're going to be playing tonight. But a lot of the stuff on the new record are really fun because it's all new and fresh, and it was written with the current lineup. Songs like Overzealot are fucking amazing live. Face of Fear, even though our drummer hates playing it because he's got a big vagina.
Yeah, Face of Fear is good. Dumb is probably my favorite off of the new album, just because of the lyrical content, and I get to be a David Icke weirdo.
All right. You've shared the stage with many great bands out in the West Coast, and now here in Ontario. What has your past touring been like, and the farthest you guys as a band have traveled?
Farthest that we've been, basically, out west has been Vancouver, and then out east has generally been like the Winnipeg area. Mm-hmm. So this is the furthest out east that we've ever played. So it's really cool for us to finally make it out here.
Awesome! I'm so glad to meet you guys, and glad you're here. This is a good time. So if you guys end up winning tonight and going over to Germany and killing it there on the Wacken stage, what are your thoughts and expectations of Wacken? And what do you think it's going to be like performing for such a large audience?
It's going to be amazing, humbling to play in the same area that Ronnie James Dio did.
I saw him out there a year or so before he died. He came up here to London with Heaven and Hell. It was quite a night.
That would just be the ultimate honor. It's we've all been doing this for a long time, and it would kind of be the culmination of a lot of years of hard work and doing what we really enjoy doing. So it would be fantastic. It'd be the dream, basically.
Well, horns high on your performance tonight, and I know you're going to give it your all, and I wish you guys all the best of luck. This is Reckless for Broken Neck Radio, and I'm chatting with Exit Strategy with Wes, the vocalist, and Greg.
That's right.
And and this other guy over here, some kind of drummer.
I'm kind of drummer. My name's Casey, yeah.
All right, Casey. Kill it, man. So, all right. Let's get out there and have a good time, all right? Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Cheers.